Thank you for the invitation to be here, and look forward to spending time with you on Saturday, those who are able to attend. So we'll be talking about how we can walk with folks who are struggling economically in our community. So you would think, with this Luke passage, it would be right up my alley, right? Blessed are the poor. If I'm really honest, I don't like this passage very much. Because my first glance, when I first read this, it almost feels like a checklist, because we all want to be blessed, right? We want to be on the side where we are blessed. We certainly don't want the latter part of this Luke passage where it says, woe to you, right? We don't want to be on that side. We want to be on the blessing side. So, my first glance at this text is, blessed are you when people hate you or exclude you. Well, okay, I can check that one off, right? That's happened to me in the past. And when you weep, I've wept in the past, so I can check that one off. And then we get to, blessed are you who are poor. Now, is that pre-taxed or post-exemption tax? What is my taxable income here? If I reduce and use all my exceptions on my income tax, I can get my income down to zero, and you know what that made me, right? Smart. That was a dirty trick on me. So I can fiddle with this a little bit on the blessed are the poor. You know, the Gospel of Matthew on this passage is a lot easier, because in the Gospel of Matthew it says, blessed are you who are poor in spirit. So I can say, well, yeah, I'm poor in spirit. But then, if I really fudge it here, blessed are you who are hungry now. I didn't have breakfast. Does that count? So maybe I should feel. But I don't think this is what Jesus had us to hear these words. I don't think that's the purpose of these words. I don't think it's for us to have some sort of checklist so that we can receive God's blessing. I think what Jesus is talking about is a little bit bigger and less individualistic in nature. So it says here in Luke that the prophets and the law have taught us what we needed to know. So there are several hundred passages in the Old Testament that talks about how we should relate to the folks who are struggling economically. And so, since I have your attention, I've got 4 hours on Saturday. Maybe we can go through all several hundred passages. Or we can go to just one. And I want to pick Deuteronomy 15. So I'll kind of talk you through Deuteronomy 15, if you don't mind. In Deuteronomy 15, the setting is that the people are leaving the desert. They've been slaves in Israel, and Moses led them to the desert. Now, this is Moses' final speech, final sermon to the children of Israel, and they're about to enter into the promised land, a land full of milk and honey. And in the desert, they were totally reliant on God for all their foods, and God blessed them continuously. So God provided water in the desert, God provided food in the desert, God provided meat and manna in the desert. God blessed them people. And here's Moses' final words saying that God is about to bless you as you enter into the promised land. And in Deuteronomy 15:4, we hear these words, God saying, there shall be no poor among you. I blessed you. There should be no poor among you. I blessed you, and there should be no want. I will bless you abundantly. And all you have to do is be obedient in my relationship with you and share generously one another. I've given you everything you need. There should be no poor among you. And then it goes on and says, but there'll probably be poor among you. So if there are poor among you, you, the community, rally around the folks who are struggling and provide what they need. Because I blessed you, so you go bless them and surround them with everything that they need to get back on their feet. I blessed you. You've received my blessing. If somebody is struggling around you, share. generosity. But in Deuteronomy 15 it says, you, the community, probably won't do that. So you, the individual, you and your family, you and your household, I've blessed you. I've given you everything you need. There should be no poor among you. Give generously. Give generously. And extend everything that I've blessed you to folks around you. And part of the reason here in Deuteronomy that God explains why people struggle economically and why it's so hard for us to be generous is that we live lives with our fists tight and our hearts hardened for those around us. So we are resistant to helping those around us because we hang on to things tightly and our hearts are a little harder. And we have these resistant questions, right? So if there's a poor person among us in our midst, how do we as a community best reach out to help them? What if there's so many poor people that it may feel overwhelming and we as a community don't feel like we have enough resources to give? And it's hard to give when your hands are tight, right? And so it's hard to reach out and give. And what if the community isn't doing enough and maybe we as a person, we feel like we should give, but the needs are so much. What are we going to do? How do we live that way? So we hear all these voices of resistance, and then we hear voices of resistance maybe saying, well, God said that there shouldn't be poor among you, but there are poor among you, so God didn't really mean that we should live generously too much, should we? Or whatever other voices of resistance that we hear. We often have that in our lives. But what God is saying here in Deuteronomy, and I think if we pull back to Luke, what God is saying is that if we choose to have, those of us who have enough, if we choose to see it, we can see all the blessings of all the things that we have as a gift from God. And then we are blessing other people. So in that way, if you look at Jesus' list, blessed are you who are poor. If we who have things share with those who are poor, we've taken the blessings that we've had with God and we get to share in that blessing as we provide and share with other folks. That's where the blessing of God works itself in. That we have an opportunity to be God's blessing to those people around us. But yet we still have resistance sometimes to that, don't we? So I want you to be daring and stand up with me, those who are able to. And my granddaughter is in karate, 8 years old, and she's in karate. And so she taught me this defensive stance, the first defensive stance. So I want you to join me. So you stand with your feet kind of apart, bend your knees a little bit, and you're a straight line, and you have one hand up here to protect you, and another hand down here to protect your waist, right? So now we're in the hard-handed, tight-handed, protecting our hearts, right? And in karate, you're not supposed to be aggressive. You're supposed to only be defensive. So if somebody's attacking you, we get into this stance, right? Thank you. Can you see it? So we're in this stance. We're ready to protect ourselves. And for my 8-year-old granddaughter, she needs to be able to protect herself. Because there have been things in her life that have hurt her. And she needs to know how to protect herself from those things in this world that are out to hurt her. And in karate, you protect yourself, and when you have the opportunity, you run away from the problem. And I want her to know how to do that. So, in this world, we sometimes feel like we need to be in this stance. Ready? Right? Ready to protect ourselves. Defend ourselves from all that is out there that is scary, that might come to take our stuff and to hurt us. And there's validity in that position, right? For my granddaughter, I want her to know how to do that, right? But I think there's another position that Jesus would have us have in Luke 6. And think about the classic image of a homeless person. stereotypical view of a homeless person. When we were in Philadelphia, we would walk the streets and we would see this position a lot. And so you would see a person out in the street in this position, right? Waiting to receive. So hear the words from Luke 6 from this position. Blessed are you who weep, for you will be filled with joy. Blessed are you who are hungry, for you will receive in fullness. And blessed are you who are poor, for you are the children of God. You also know this position, don't you? The position of being ready to receive a blessing. Right? And so when we come to the Lord's table, that's the position that we enter, right? In a position ready to receive a blessing. So God blesses, God shares that blessing generously, and we receive that blessing. And what I think Jesus is saying here is to take that blessing and then go bless other folks. There's another position, so if you want to stand again, that has a close tightening of the fist, but it's this. Our fists are closed, right? Our hands are closed. This is a position of generosity and sharing and care. So take this position with us too. Where we're unified, we're together, we're sharing, and we're receiving. Who's the one giving? Who's the one receiving? Both. So may the words of Jesus fill us